Folks, I am taking us on a little field trip to the library. In case you haven't been there, perhaps you're struggling with the library or struggling with finding research articles. Let's just go to the library and let me go over a few things with you in case it's helpful. Remember, the library can be found under the Resources tab at the top of our classroom, and once you click, I have already opened it up, so once you click on the library, it will bring you to this one search page. We want the advanced search. Now sometimes you're going to have a little bit of a lag in the library when you try to use this, but the most helpful place for us to search is under the advanced search. Advanced searching allows us to toggle back and forth or to utilize 3 Boolean search lines at a time, and that means that you get more details to the search engine that's trying to find your work for you. So the Boolean search looks like this. It's got 3 lines. You can always add more. You could add a 4th line, you could take away a line over here with the control buttons. So in the Boolean search, you just want to start by asking for what you want. I tell folks, you know, we're aiming on nursing topics. So I tell folks to use the word nursing as one of the terms that you use. Now, because in the week 4 assignment and in the week 5/final assignment, you can use quantitative research, but you can't use qualitative or other types of research in the week 5 assignment. So if you find a quantitative research article on your topic in week 4, you can use it both in week 4 and in week 5. So it makes sense to me to search for quantitative research all the way through, since we know we can get double the bang for our buck with quantitative research. So I tell students, put that in there, quantitative research, because that's what we want. And then the last line is for whatever your topic is. Maybe your topic is preceptor program. So I would type that in. Now I've got my 3 terms in the Boolean search lines, and I'm going to scroll down because it's important to go down to the bottom. This is the search options section. So you want to make sure your full text is clicked, and that is a default on mine. It may be for yours as well. We always want to look for peer-reviewed journals. So make sure that is clicked as well. And then right here you have the opportunity to limit your search to the last 5 years. I recommend you do that. Because it's easier to forget when you think you find a great article and you think, wow, I'm going to use this one, you go to work on it, and then you never really look closely at the year to decide that it's recent enough to use. Remember, we only want the last 5 years. So you can put that search in right there. You can also hold off on limiting your year, and if you do, I'll show you what to do with that as well. So we're going to hit search. Remember, we've told it 3 different things we want it to search for. And sometimes, you know, this is a kind of a winnowing type of an assignment, of a project. You've got to weed out what works and what doesn't work, and you sometimes have to back up and use broader terms, and sometimes you have to use more narrow terms. So you have to be prepared to spend a little bit of time in the library. So here we have an article that is from February 2019, The Impact of Mentorship, Preceptors, and Debriefing on the Quality of Program Experiences. So if we like the sound of that, we could click on it and find out more about it. And this says that we have 1 through 20, so of 62 articles. So there's 62 here. Now I did not limit the years. So right away you'd know that some will be too old to use. Developing preceptorship through action research, nursing preceptors speak out, an empirical study, preceptors' view of assessing nursing students using a competency-based approach. Lots of great stuff here. So you're going to jump right in and click on any article that you feel sounds good. I'm just jumping into the first one. And then I will get the same, I'm going to get the information, the detailed record of the article that comes up first, and if there's an abstract, it'll be right here for me. Remember, you cannot work from an abstract alone. You must have the full article. In fact, you're going to submit the article, so you really need it in PDF format. If you have the abstract will help you decide if you don't want an article, but it can't help you decide if you do want one, because you've got to go farther than just the abstract. So you can look at the abstract here. It is a quantitative study, descriptive analysis of secondary data, meaning they took data from other sources to get their data. They didn't conduct their experiment themselves and gather data at the time, but they used data that already existed. So up here you have a couple of things. Full text from ScienceDirect. That's where you would go to find this full text, because remember I asked for full text only. So everything I asked for is available here in full text, though it might take me to another place to get it, like this full text from ScienceDirect. Another thing I want to point out is the Find Similar Results tab, because I did not limit my search to the last 5 years. Because of that, I might find some really interesting things that were older than I wanted them to be. And if I found this article and I really loved it, it was right on track but too old, I could hit the Find Similar Results, and I promise you, every time you ever hit the Find Similar Results, you will get thousands of responses, because it takes everything from the abstract and plops it into the Boolean line for you. And so you're going to get lots more information. Then you will have a weeding process to get rid of the things that aren't necessary, aren't useful to you. So I'm going to click Find Similar Results just to show you what it does. Remember, we had 62 results prior to clicking it. I do have a little lag in the library today, but after it took all that abstract information and placed it in the search bar, now I have 46,266,473 results. You see how crazy that is, right? And then you would want to do a couple of things. It takes out the requests that you had to limit your search before. So I would have to go back and say, nope, remember, I want peer-reviewed only. Click that box over here on the left. That'll decrease the amount I have. Not by a lot, though, I guarantee. Sorry about that delay today. So now we have 16 million, and it's coming up, almost there. Patience is a virtue. Okay, so I could also, you see the wide range here from 1776 to 2021. So I would want to say, okay, now I want to limit to the last 5 years. And sometimes it takes you a little bit of playing around to get those last 5 years. Oops, not quite. It slipped back a notch or two. So I would have to do it a couple times to get exactly the right last 5 years. And that would chop off a bunch of these articles, and then we could get down to work sifting through the articles to see. We still have 8 million there. So let me find one that's available in. See, this one automatically I would throw out. It's a quality improvement project. Get rid of that sucker, because quality improvement is evidence, but it is not high-level research, and it's not high-level evidence either. So we want to get rid of that and use research only. Let's click on, I was trying to find one that had a PDF available easily for us. Quality improvement, exploring the structure, national survey, perceptions of nurse preceptors. Nope, there's no PDF. The ones that don't have a PDF, they still have full text, but you're just going to ScienceDirect through a link to get it. So don't worry about that, because we truly did ask for full text only. All right, and it is slim pickings This is a 2015 article. Let's just see what it brings us. Reflection on nurse preceptor training courses. The experiences of nurse preceptors and preceptees. And once again, you get the information. It's a 2015 study. You get the information from the abstract right here. And then a couple of things about this page setup. You would, if you found this article, loved it, you would want to email it to yourself. That's one great way to make sure you have the information you need. And when you do that, when you click email, you will get the opportunity to send the APA reference with it. So you would click citation format. It's listed alphabetically, so you'd click down to APA and then fill in all the boxes for email to, and that means it'll come to you with the PDF attached to it, if there is a PDF. If there's not, if it's a link to ScienceDirect, and then you will have the full reference as well. You might have to make some changes to that reference, but it still will be close to the format you need. Okay, so let's open the PDF full text. You can also get the citation format right here. Alright, when I open the PDF, you can of course download the PDF to your computer. Oh look, it's in another language. Just looking to see if it came up with English afterwards. There it is. So scroll right down. Of course, other languages are fine. International articles are fine as long as they are written in English somewhere. There's a version of it in English. And the subject content is pertinent to what we do here in the United States. So the article is here, and you can see the methods. This is kind of a nice abstract that tells you the purpose, the methods, the results, and the conclusions. The methods, investigators use a qualitative method. So remember, I asked for quantitative, so it led me astray here. Qualitative method to conduct 5 focus group interviews with 15 nurse preceptors and 14 nurses in a medical center. So that's great information because you then know which direction to go. This is a qualitative study, so it could be used for my week 4 assignment, but it couldn't be used for my week 5 assignment, which needs all quantitative. So the authors here were very nice in telling us that it's qualitative in nature. If they don't tell you qualitative, quantitative, mixed methods, you've got to figure that out from what you know about those things yourself. Okay, and look, the full article is not present, just the abstract in English version. So let's go backwards. This is a great process because it really helps you get more familiar with the library. It helps you get more familiar with how to distinguish qualitative from quantitative, and it helps you figure out the nuances, for example, of creating that APA citation for your work. So let's see, let's go to one that is in ScienceDirect. This is a community transition program. And this will take us to, will give us a link for ScienceDirect. As I was saying, the ability to use the citation is over here. If you click on Cite, it will take a minute, but it will tell you the reference. You'd have to scroll down to APA, and here's the reference for this work. And sometimes it will be in absolutely the right format, and sometimes you will have to do a little bit of finagling. For example, this one does not have the DOI number, which is needed in a APA reference, but the rest of it, the capitalization use, the italics, is all correct. So you could just copy and paste that, find the DOI number, or if you don't have the DOI number, you use the URL link to the home page for the journal. Okay, so let's go up here to full text from ScienceDirect to see if we can find the full text. And remember, for this assignment, we are looking for some very specific pieces of information that have to be answered in your critique. When you critique something, you're telling how well the authors did, so you have to know what the authors should be doing to know how well they did. For example, the title of the article, did it give you information, enough information about what variables were going to be studied, what type of study it was. Okay, so this is the full text. It starts with highlights and then the abstract. And then you get a little bit of great information here in the abstract. The aim of the study, evaluating graduates' intention to remain in the primary healthcare nursing workforce. Preceptor ratings were measured. It tells you the results right up front. And then as you start scrolling down, you'll get more information about what type of study it was. Your literature review is generally in the beginning with an introduction or by itself. They give you some good background on the study. Let's just keep scrolling. Sorry, I know that's hard to watch somebody else scroll. Here's the method of the study. This is a cohort study comparing the experience and outcomes of the graduates in community transition programs with graduates in acute care transition programs during a certain period of time. So you know it's a cohort study. Now you have to figure out, you have to know more than that, qualitative or quantitative, and then the cohort tells you a portion of the information you need to know about the methodology used. Gives you information about participants, and remember, in our assignment we have to determine what the sample size was, and really, was it an appropriate sample size? Did the authors tell us about that? How the sample was obtained, the recruitment is given here, and that's great information as well. Data collection, how that occurred, the questionnaires that were used, and then information related to the questionnaires and the scoring format that was used. Data analysis. This is a great section because it helps us decide what type of research it was. Because if we're looking at statistical analysis, we know it's quantitative in nature, and if we're looking at analysis of content using words and themes, then we're looking at qualitative work. And of course, it can use both and be a mixed method study. Tells you a little bit about the ethics approval, which is great information. We need to know that that researchers looked at the IRB, or the ethics of the study. And then you get some good details about the demographics. Now, demographics are not results of a research study. They are information to help the reader understand more about the population that was used. Sometimes students get confused over that because you'll see demographic information and think, well, this must be statistical analysis, it's all in numbers. But really, they're telling you just about the demographics there, which should be in numbers. And then it goes on to more of the results of the study. So this is a good example of a quantitative research study and how to determine what type of study it is. You know, you're looking at the way the questions were asked, the way data was collected, and how it was analyzed to determine if it's qualitative or quantitative or mixed methods. And remember, in your assignment, you're critiquing the authors. So you're looking at things like the title. Did it adequately inform you about what the study was? You're looking at whether they had a literature review and if it was clearly marked, or how many articles they discussed and from what age range. You're looking at their sample size. Did they state how they determined if it was adequate or not? Lots of great details are going to go into your critique of the research article. Remember, this week, in week 4, your research article can be qualitative or quantitative, and it can even be mixed methods. But you want to avoid literature reviews, meta-analysis, because those things, though they can be high-level research, they will not allow you to answer the questions easily that you need to build into your paper for this week as you critique a primary study that's qualitative or quantitative in nature. If you have questions, I would love to talk to you about it. I hope that you are having an easy time of using the library, but if you're not and you want to walk through your subject in the library while you're in it, I'd be happy to. Just reach out and let me know. Thanks.